day 41 of my journey towards writing my first fantasy novel. I'm Father Roderick. In case you're new to my channel, welcome. Every day I post a short update on my progress in writing the first draft. What I came up with was, well, what if I create a bit of a Genesis story for, not for Ireland, obviously, but for the Codex, this sacred magical book that is the center MacGuffin, you could say, of the story. But where does it come from? How was it created? And I knew already that it had to do something with that island where the admission test is going to take place, where at least one of my protagonists is going to have to face his own insecurities. But then I got an idea, which I want to read to you what I wrote, about I think a much cooler origin story. And the way in which I'm going to weave this into the first few chapters is that it's actually the two sisters, Orla and Niamh, who are going to discover like a secret, I should say. So it's sacred and secret crypt underneath the altar in the chapel. And what they discover there is a very mysterious scene. So they're cleaning, right? And then they notice that some of the water just disappears in between the spaces of the stones, and then I don't know, maybe they press something, or anyway, a crypt opens and they go into the crypt and they see two tombs there, two caskets, which are already kind of creepy. But the thing is, one of the caskets has a body and the other one is empty. And then they find an inscription, or it's actually a song that is written on the wall or on a tablet, or I haven't figured out what yet. And that is actually a song that relates the story in Old Irish of how the Codex came about. And why is that crypt in the chapel? Well, that has to do with that Genesis story. So let me read to you what I wrote here. So Niamh finds a hidden crypt while she's cleaning under the altar with a reliquary. I thought at the time when I was writing that, I thought of a reliquary, but I think a casket is much more dramatic visually. So it's and they find this old song that tells the story of the Holy Island. The Holy Island is the island, I haven't come up with a name yet, in the center of that lake where everybody is traveling in the fourth chapter. That song is like a creation story for the world. It talks about God sending not one, but two people to the island. And these two people were the ones who founded the order, or the orders, let's say the brothers and the sisters that live on the premises of this monastery where my book takes place. They are two siblings. It's a brother and a sister. The brother has provided the words for the song, and the sister provided the music. And they or actually, no, that's not true. They were both actually working creatively on the island. The song is the result of that, but it goes much deeper than that. So they are creators. Both so they're reflecting kind of the creation story of Genesis in the Bible, obviously. But the both were complementary in creating stuff. So he was the brother was good in creating, in crafting words, and she was crafting music, and the two together had an incredible magical force, like a generative force that could literally change the world for the better. Now, this takes place maybe a century before my story, or even longer, I don't know. And then, according to this song, a third person washes up on the shore one morning, and the siblings, being good people, take him under their care. So this kind of mirrors a little bit the dynamics between Ty and Orla and Felix, the stranger who washes up on the shore of the monastery, right? So, but this third person turns out to be not a good person, because he influences the brother to see his sister as a rival instead of someone who collaborates with him, as someone who deprives him of what he deserves. And so they together, the brother and the stranger, they hide the harp, the magical harp that she has crafted. And she had a vision because the harp hadn't been invented at that time yet, but it's prophecy. And by robbing her from her music, they rob her from her joy and from her hope. And then she knows, she discovers what's truly going on. And she is scared because she now fears for the future of the world because her brother has this codex. So the words, he created the codex and she gave it music. But without the music, the codex is not complete. And so what she does is she's helped by angels and takes the codex and brings it to what is now the monastery. And there she recreates the harmony, not of the music and the words, but this time between the brothers and the sisters. So she founds a community around the codex that is so creative and so harmonious that it kind of replaces the function of the harp. But the harp is still hidden somewhere on the island. And that, of course, is going to become real instead of just myth later on in my story. And when she died, she stipulated that she wanted to have a second casket next to hers in case her brother would return. Aww. So she still has kept hoping that her brother would return to her and join her in death. He doesn't, and what we will discover at the end, in the final confrontation with the Grand Master, where does he come from? Well, what do you know? He's a descendant of the brother. And that is why he wants the Codex. It is basically him taking on the what is it? He is just stepping in the footsteps of his whatever grandfather, and he is searching for the Codex because he's been looking for the Codex, just as his father or grandfather did. But when she died, when this kind of, it's a bit like Saint Bridget, right? So when she dies, that's where this harmony between brothers and sisters starts to shift. And the men are starting to take over, influenced by kind of the imbalance because there's just the codex, there's not the music. And so the whole balance starts to shift towards kind of like male dominance within that monastic community. And so that's where we find Orla and the other sisters kind of being subservient to the men who have all the rights and all the cool jobs and everything. And so this is how the whole story of Orla suddenly gains so much more importance, because she is going to be the one who, if she is going to find the harp together with Niamh, and they are going to bring back the balance to monastic life. That's what I wanted to share. Love to hear your comments. Let me know. And tomorrow, another update. Take care.